Hello again, rail fans, and welcome to some newer territory along Norfolk Southern's Atlanta North District between the towns of Plainville and Aragon, Georgia. My buddy Dakota and I would head out here in the early morning hours of Tuesday, February 20th, 2024, after hearing that southbound NS Intermodal/Autorack Combo Train 219 would have NS 1069 leading, which is a Virginian Heritage unit, as y'all just saw a few seconds ago. 1069 has been quite a hot topic recently, as it was just repainted a few months ago, and Dakota and I both wanted to see it in its newer paint job. So this opportunity would work out perfectly, and this train would be our point of interest for the next hour or so. This was actually the second day of a 3-day trip that Dakota and I were on together, as we'd be exploring a lot of northern Georgia and southern Tennessee, but most of what we saw was over on CSX, and I don't have a plan right now of making a video out of all of that, so this may be all that you guys will see from this trip. We would then follow the train south to downtown Rome, as we'd get there with just about 2 minutes to spare, and we were lucky to even have that time, as track speeds through town aren't nearly as fast as they are north of town, which I believe it's 60 miles an hour out there. We would then hop right back into the car and keep heading south, as getting out of town isn't the easiest task, and we wouldn't get back ahead of him until Control Point Aragon, just north of Rockmart, where he'd be meeting a northbound that was already in the siding waiting for him. This is where our chase with 219 would come to an end, and what we thought at first was the northbound was going to come out of the siding right after he cleared. But just about 30 seconds after he had passed, the southbound signal would light up with the restricting, and then an approach a few minutes later. Then we'd hear the sound of a distant K3LA, so we'd turn our cameras right back around for whatever it was that was coming. Since we heard a K3LA, we figured this next southbound would have foreign power, and sure enough, we were right. The train would turn out to be 284, coming out of Memphis, Tennessee off of the BNSF down to Inman Yard in Atlanta. The lead motor would be BNSF Heritage 2 AC 4400 number 5510, with another Heritage 2 GE behind it, then an NS-9 coming up third. You'll start to notice 284 really slowing down, as he'd still be running on approaches right behind the 219. 284 is another one of those intermodals that I like to call the JB Hunt Special, as almost every single well car is filled up with JB Hunt containers. For those of you that have watched my Stevenson, Alabama video, you'll know that we saw multiple of these along that trip. And for those of you that haven't watched that video, I recommend that you do so if you like fall weather railroading along a busy main line that is shared between two different railroads. Right after 284 would be yet another southbound line through, this one being a local symboled, I believe, G34, coming out of Rome to most likely serve industries in Rockmart. Today's G34 wouldn't be much, with a solo SD60E running long hood forward, leading 2 tank cars. Now with all the southbounds out of the way, the northbound gets a diverging clear out of the siding at Aragon to head north for Chattanooga. I never heard him call the signal here, so I have no idea what the symbol was on this one. We would then leapfrog the train for one last shot of him at the Lindale Railfan viewing platform as he heads north through here at track speed. This would be it for Dakota and I on the Atlanta North District on this day, as our business over here was done and we'd head back over to CSX. But this busy morning makes me want to come back over here for an entire day and see what I can find. But until next time, this is Georgia Rail Productions saying so long from Lindale, Georgia, along Norfolk Southern's Atlanta North District.